Hey devotioners, how are you? I hope everybody's doing marvelous. I just want to stop in today and to just share with you in a brief moment of devotion, just to encourage you and to uplift you and to send you on your way with hope. You know, my little speech is it's all about hope these days and the restoring of hope, and we know that the word of God is our source of hope. And that's where I'm going to talk to you from today. The book of Psalms, chapter 3, verse 4 and 5. Psalms chapter 3, verse 4 and 5. I actually love reading the entire chapter. But I'm going to do 4 and 5, where it says, I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept, for the Lord sustained me. Ooh, you get it? You get it? You get it? I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept, for the Lord sustained me. And he goes on to say, but thou, our Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, the lifter up of my head. I want to encourage you today of the importance of carrying your burdens and your cares to the Lord. A matter of fact, the Bible admonished us to cast our cares upon him because he cares for us. We've talked about it a few times in devotion about this particular scripture, that the Lord cares for us, that the Lord wants to be involved in what we are doing. And so it is so important that we can find a place where we can cry unto God, sincerely cry unto God without reservation. And David found himself in this situation where he was in battle. He was going to be in battle. And he realized that the warfare that he was in was so intense that even his training could not prepare him for what was coming. That he needed the support. He needed to cry to God to say, God, I know I have weaponry. I know I have experience, but Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how to navigate this warfare that is coming. And the Bible tells us that King David cried unto the Lord. He sobbed, he wailed, he cried, he hollered unto the Lord. He began to tell the Lord all that he was feeling, all that he was about to face. He just came undone in the presence of the Lord. I cried unto the Lord. So I don't know exactly what was going on with him, but I know that the magnitude of what he was about to face caused him to lower himself to the ground and cry unto the Lord. And if King David could cry unto God in a moment of uncertainty, what says you? What says me? There is nothing wrong. God welcomes. The song says he hears our faintest cry. He answers by and by. So whatever it is that might be perplexing you right now, whether it's at home, whether it's on the job, whether it's whatever institution, cry out to God. Because sometimes many of us, we have best intentions, and not always others can see or want to see our best intentions. And sometimes, there's personalities that are involved, and sometimes you're probably wondering, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? And you find yourself in these conundrums. You're like, what's going on? And you may find yourself perhaps, being dismissed by a person. Maybe it's and maybe you're misreading it. You just don't know. So many things are happening all at once, and you don't know how to walk. You feel like you may be walking on eggshells. Like so many things. It could be that. It could be your own insecurities that you're battling with, and you don't know how to necessarily maneuver. It's just so much going on. Things just feel so displaced, and I don't know. But wherever the complexities are, wherever it's coming from, wherever, I am encouraging you to lay it out at the Master's feet. And I can assure you that He will hear you from His holy hill. He will hear you, and He will answer. I cried unto the Lord, and He heard me out of His holy hill. In other words, He's saying, God heard me from His chambers. God heard me from behind the veil. God heard me out of heaven. He heard me out of His tabernacle. Whatever you want to say. But His ear was inclined to the cry of David. And so is His ears inclined unto you. I cannot tell you of the many moments in my life where I was battling something internal or things external, and I didn't know the answer, and I'm telling you, even recently, I literally just began to cry, like tears, boo-hoo. Just cry unto God and say, God, I don't understand. God, I don't know. God, I need answers. God, help me. Like literally bawling, sobbing. And I can tell you, before the day ended, thinking about this one particular situation recently, before the day ended, God answered. God answered. I remember this specific incident where I was supposed to, I was on my way to work, and I was just crying and crying about something to God, and then I was supposed to meet with somebody, but when I was supposed to meet with them, somebody else was talking to them, and so I ended up talking to somebody else unexpectedly. And within that conversation, the answer came, surprisingly. And that was not the person I was originally going to talk to. And the answer came through that medium. And I was like, God, whoa, you are off the chain here. You're so good. You hear and you answer. And consequently, something was birthed out of that conversation that is now an initiative on my plate. And I said, look at God. God knows how to set you up. So when you cry sincerely unto God, God will go ahead of you. Listen to this. God will go ahead of you, and God will put the answer in somebody. If he doesn't talk to you directly, he will put the answer in somebody, and that person, they're sensitive to the moment. In this case, they just said something that hit right at the core. And you know, because you know previously what you were talking to God about. And you can say, that was God. That was God. And the reason why I didn't talk to this person, and the reason why somebody else was talking to this person, was because I was supposed to get the answer here. And sometimes in those moments, because I almost just went back to my area, but something just said, say hello. You know, the door is open, just say hello, and boom, conversation. You just don't know. And so that's why I talk about the essentiality of being able to flow with God. Because I know we have our schedules, and we know what we are supposed to do, but every now and then, not all the time, you should give room for the flow, because you never know where the answer is going to come from. And then the Bible said in Psalms 3 and verse 5, he said, I laid me down and slept, for the Lord sustained me. In other words, the Lord strengthened me. The Lord supported me. He said, I cried. I laid it down. I wiped my tears, went about my day, and I laid down and slept. In other words, I left it alone. I put it in God's hands. I'm done. I did my part. Now, God, it's in your hands. He said, listen, I'm not going to bring this worry to sleep. He said, I laid me down and slept. What a confidence. For the Lord sustained me. The Lord uphold me. The Lord backed me up. The Lord ministered to me. The Lord was present. Jehovah Shammah. He was my peace. He was my Jireh. He provided mental stability. Oh my God, he was just my source of refuge. I laid me down and slept. For the Lord sustained me. When you pray and you cry to God, leave it there. What an example to take from David. He said, listen, I am not going to worry about this any longer. It's in the Lord's hand. And then he said, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that set themselves against me round about. So he was once afraid. The enemy caused him to tremble. The enemy caused him to second guess himself. But he said, after I cried, I laid down, the Lord strengthened me, the Lord reinvigorated me. I will not be afraid of 10,000 of people that set themselves against me round about. David said, you know what, come and give me your best shot, because now I know that my God is with me. I am not going to be afraid. I am not going to surrender. I am not going to bow to the devices of the enemy. I am not going to put up my sword. No. I am ready to fight. Come on. I am ready to battle with you. I'm not afraid. I'm not gonna cower in a corner. You surround me all you want. Say what you want to say. Do what you want to do. My affair is in the hand of the Lord, and God has strengthened me, and God is supporting me, and God is ministering to me. Listen, I am not going to surrender. For thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, the lifter up of my head. You may start out, and I'm done. You may start out feeling weak. You may start out feeling defeated. You may start out stumbling. You may start out unsure. You may start out with some levels of insecurity. You may start out just not knowing what to do and how to navigate. You may start out at a disadvantage. You may start out on the backside. But I'm telling you, if you cry out to God, if you leave the affairs of your life in the hands of God, even people that don't want to help you will help you. I'm telling you, if you cry out to God, I can tell you tonight that you can go to bed and have sweet sleep and wake up with a smile on your face and declare, I am ready for battle. Because God has a way of, only He alone is God. Only He alone can be God. Because the way that He does things is just uncanny. It's just mind-blowing. It's just in everyday vernacular, I mean, it just don't make no sense, you know. But only God alone can undergird us with such strength. We walk in feeble, in mind sometimes, in heart, in spirit, physically, and leave out of His presence with strength. I mean, and I don't mean like just some, I mean strength that can cause you to face the enemy. You know what it is though? God says, use my strength, because when you are weak, I become strong. So that's why, I guess that's why we feel like we can just rip the devil to pieces, just rip him to shreds, because it's not your strength, it's not your natural human strength. It is divine. That's why sometimes, I guess that's what it is. Right? Is that what it is, devotioners? That's so you can just look in the face of the enemy and say, come here to me, man. Just come here to me. Because you're not operating with your natural abilities. Now it's divine. I think I get it now. Thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory, the lifter up of my head. God can take you from there to here. So just leave it in his hands. Cry unto him, leave it in his hands, go to sleep. He will hear you from his holy hill, and he will answer you. He will rescue you. He will give you strategy. He will give you wisdom and knowledge and understanding of how to maneuver. What a God. Leave it in his hands. Walk with him. Talk with him. Invite him into your day. Invite him into, again, your affairs, and watch him make a way. God bless you, and we'll talk soon. May he cause his great face to shine upon you. May he be gracious unto you, and may he grant you his strength, his peace, his long suffering, his joy, his meekness, his faith, his tender mercies. May he grant you all that he is. In Jesus' name. We'll talk soon.